Hi, good morning children. I hope you all are fine. Okay. Can you remember what things or which lesson we discussed last class? Yes, geography areas we discussed first lesson and second lesson. Means first we discussed the second lesson, then after that we discussed the first lesson also. So, just now we are just stopping our geography. We are come to the starting the lesson in politics. So, politics is very easy. You don't worry it. Very simple portions. All about democracy and democratic rights and election. You don't think it is burden for you, it is boring for you. It is very simple and interesting. We can make it more interest. Okay, don't worry. So, are you ready to start politics? Everyone should take your politics textbook, pencil, pen and all. If I am saying important points, you can underline it. While you are reading, you can underline it and listen carefully. Not like geography, we have to explain more, and while I am saying the important points, important topics, important area, you have to stress it, you have to underline it and mark it. Okay. So, first lesson, before that I have to tell you one thing. First lesson, it is you have to read the lesson. That means we no need to discuss it in the class. What is the name of the first lesson, you know? Yes, it is Democracy in the Contemporary World. That lesson, before reading this or before or after the class, you have to, before studying this topic, you have to read first lesson 2 times. When you are sitting free time, when you are leisure time or on Sundays, you have to read the first lesson carefully. Only you have to, no need to by heart the points, no need to study or no need to write notes. You have to read the first lesson carefully. In that lesson, you can see that how the democratic form of government and what is the condition of the democratic form of government and what are the conditions of the democratic form of government, how can we compare different rulers, their attitudes in different countries like Chile, Ghana and all, and Nepal, Robert Mugabe, Pinochet, everything. Most leaders, their activities, their attitudes towards the countries, their decisions without considering the people, everything you can read and understand from the first lesson. From that, from the first lesson, you can understand that how the democratic government should perform. What is the difference between the democratic form of government and the non-democratic form of government? After that, if you are reading the second lesson or starting the first topic of the second lesson, it will be very easy for you. You should read first lesson. You must read first lesson, otherwise it is somewhat difficult for you to understand the second lesson. That is why I am telling, because in between sometimes the examples are coming from the first lesson. Okay. So, that lesson you have to read. I will never take, I will if I am getting at last near the exam time and all, I will help you to understand, but now I am not taking, that lesson is not need for us. So, you have to read the lesson. Understood, my dear children? After reading first lesson, if you got any doubts, don't worry, you can call me, I will clear it. Okay? Yes. So, while you are reading the first lesson, you can understand these all basic ideas, what I discussed now. And politics, it is all about democracy, features, problems, solutions, rights, everything it is mentioning in these lessons, in this textbook as a whole. Okay. From the first lesson you can understand that some governments governments as a democratic and some are a non-democratic. And also we understood how countries changed from one form of a government to another form of government. Sometimes because of some problems arise in the society, one form of a government it is changing from another form of a government. Got it? And also because of the people's struggle. Okay. And also so there will be questions are arising. Means we have to understand. One form of a government, they are changing to another form of a government. So one question will arise, why they changed from one form of government to another form of government? Yes, there are many answers, we will get different answers, am I right? So what are the different questions? Yes, that it is mentioning in the second lesson, what is democracy and why democracy? I think you got it. So that is why I informed you, read the first lesson carefully, then you can come to the second lesson, okay. In this lesson we will discuss the definitions of a democracy and the meaning of democracy. Definitions and meaning. While we are analyzing the definitions, we can understand or there will be arising or there will arise different questions, and also what is the real meaning of democracy. Okay, the aim of this lesson is to, what is the aim of this lesson? After each lesson, we will get a few value points and few important things we can identify and practice in our daily life or in our future life. So, from this lesson or the aim of this lesson is to understand a clear picture of democratic government. After this lesson, you are able to define or you are able to express what is a real democratic form of government. And also, after this lesson, you are also able to, or we should be able to distinguish a democratic form of government and a non-democratic form of a government. While you are getting a description of non-democratic form of government and a democratic form of government, you can clearly analyze, you can clearly distinguish between these two forms of government. And also we can understand the objectives and a broader meaning of democracy in this lesson. So what are the things we will get from this lesson? Yes, we should be able to distinguish democratic form of government and non-democratic form of government, and also we can understand the definition and real meaning and also objectives of a democracy and broader idea of democracy. Democracy is expanding to more countries. You know, while some of the countries, if they are following the another form of a government, but they are analyzing other countries, their democratic policies, they are influenced by it and they are ready to change from their own form of government to democratic form of government. Okay, why is it so? Why they are ready to change? Why the people are raising voice against the non-democratic form of government? Okay, all we can discuss in this lesson. So, my dear children, these are the introductory part I have to explain you. These are the basic things you have to understand from the starting of this lesson. I think you got it. Don't forget it. You should read the first lesson. Okay. The first topic, what is democracy? What is democracy? You know what is democracy? Yes, Janathipatyam. That is the Malayalam version of democracy. Janathipatyam. Janangalude Adhipatyam. They are the supreme power. People are the supreme authority in this form of government, that is known as democracy. From the different example of this lesson, we understood democratic government and a non-democratic government. You will understand. We are coming to discuss all these things. From the first lesson, you will get what is democratic form of a government. And before discussing what is democracy, Before discussing what is democracy, we have to discuss why define democracy. What is democracy we have to understand. Before that we have to discuss why define democracy. എന്തിനാണ് ഡെമോക്രസിയെ ഡിഫൈൻ ചെയ്യുന്നത്? Why define democracy? So, to understand this clearly, we can go through a conversation. After this conversation by a teacher and her students, you can understand why define democracy. എന്തിനാണ് നമ്മൾ ഡെമോക്രസിയെ ഡിഫൈൻ ചെയ്ത് പഠിക്കുന്നത്? Okay, so here Mary, one student, she does not like this way of defining democracy. What is democracy? Directly if you are discussing democracy, what is democracy, she doesn't like, she does not like to define the democracy in such a way. So, she is asking different questions to her teacher. Matilda, she is teacher, she is a teacher of Mary. So, student is asking different questions related with the definitions of the democracy. So, that it is very interesting. Let us read the conversation. Everyone should open page number 24. Are you ready to conduct a conversation? If it is in the class, I will call you one by one person and you have to read it, we can explain it, but it is not possible now. So, my dear children, I will read the conversations and I will explain the meaning. You have to understand what it is mentioned in the questions of Mary and what the teacher is giving the answers. What points the teacher is giving, okay, and how teacher is clearing the doubts of Mary, what is the intention of Mary, what are the questions arising from her. This all we can discuss, this all you will understand because of this conversation. Are you ready to? We can conduct a conversation. You can go through the lesson, lines what I am reading. Are you ready? So, open your page number 24. Shall I read? Yes. I think you all are ready and open your textbook. Am I right? Yes. So, Mary, ma'am, I don't like this idea. First we spent one whole chapter discussing democracies in different parts of the world and then we want to find out the meaning of democracy. I mean, logically, shouldn't we have approached it the other way of round? Shouldn't the meaning have come first at then the example? That is right, no? That means she is thinking first lesson we discussed democracy and non-democratic government and democracy and what are its specialities, what they did in their own country, everything we discussed. After that we are discussing what is democracy, definition of democracy. So, she is thinking that it is not a logic method. That is why she asked questions to her teacher. So, next. So, what was the answer of Linda ma'am? Linda ma'am or their teacher, she is giving a few words to her. What she is saying? Linda madam, I can see your points, I can understand, but that is not how we reason in everyday life. We use words like pen, rain or love. Do we wait to have a definition of these words before we use them? Come to think of it, do we have clear definition on these words? It is only by using a word that we understand its meaning. That means, Mary asked, I don't like this idea. First we spent a whole chapter discussing democracies. After that we are defining the definitions and the meaning. Is it correct? Is it logic? That was the question. So, Linda madam, their teacher is saying, if we are using a pen or a words we are using pen, rain, love. Rain you stop. You don't want to shower now. We have to study the meaning of the rain, then only you have to shower on earth. Is it possible? Okay. Your mother intend, that means unlimitedly, that means there is no limit for your parents love towards you. Are you saying, no, first I have to study the meaning of love, then only you have to love, people have to love me. Is it correct? You got a pen. And before writing, are you thinking, are you studying about the pen, their meaning, its materials, its everything? Are you studying, understanding? Then only are you using or for writing the pen? No, never. First we are using it. Pen, we are using it. We are getting or enjoying the rain. We are enjoying love. Then after that we are understanding what it is and all. Am I right? Like that, ഒരു പേന കിട്ടിയാൽ അതുകൊണ്ട് ആദ്യം നമ്മൾ എഴുതുകയാണ് ചെയ്യുന്നത്. After that only we are discussing its everything, company and everything sometimes we may discuss. But the use, when we have to practice it, നമ്മൾ ഒരു കാര്യം ഉപയോഗത്തിൽ പ്രാക്ടീസ് ചെയ്യുമ്പോഴേ we can understand what is the definition, what is the meaning, what are the drawbacks, how can we correct it, what are the limitations, everything we can understand. That was the answer of their teacher. Okay. Then Mary, but then why do we need definitions at all? Madam, again she asked, student asked, Mary asked, Madam, why we need a definition for this democracy? Okay, Linda Madam, we need a definition only when we come across a difficulty in the use of word. Am I right? Am I right? So, while we are using ink pen, then a ballpoint pen, these two writings are different. While we are writing with these two pen, the writings are different. In one pen we have to pour the ink, another one pen already it is a ball pointed refill is there. Okay. So my dear children, while we felt any difficulties while you are writing the pen, that time you will study about it. Yes, this nib is not okay, this ink is not okay. While you are practicing only you can understand. Now you understood. Okay, that the teacher's opinion. And we need a definition of rain only when we wish to distinguish from drizzle, cloud burst. How can we identify different rain? First we have to get rain. Adim mala namukku labhikkanam. Then only we can distinguish between different rain. Downpouring, isn't it? Shaktamaya mala, heavy rain will be there. And also drizzle will be there. Chattal mala, kunju mala. While we are getting these two types of rain only, we can distinguish these. Such a way, we have to experience different types of a form of government or democratic form of government. If we are following only, we can identify what are the limitations, what are the qualities, or what are the advantages and the disadvantages. Understood, dear children? Yes. Okay. And that was opinion of teacher. The same is true for democracy. We need a clear definition only because people use. നമ്മൾ ഉപയോഗിക്കുമ്പോഴാണ് അതിൻ്റെ definition നമുക്ക് clear ആയിട്ട് പഠിക്കാനും കണ്ടെത്താനും കഴിയൂ. That was the opinion of teacher. And because a very different kinds of governments call themselves democracy. Most of the countries they are saying that we people also following democratic form of government. But in reality, they are not a real form of a democratic government. In the namesake or in the paper, mere on the paper only, they are following democratic form of government. But in practice, but in reality, they are not following all the policies of democracy. Got it? So, we can practice it. Then only we can define it properly. So, another one student opinion, but why do we need to work on a definition? The other day you quoted Abraham Lincoln's call. Another student is saying, ma'am, you taught us one quote of or one definition of Abraham Lincoln. According to him, what is democracy? That you studied in your 7th standard. Am I right? What is definition of democracy according to Abraham Lincoln? Yes, democracy is a government of the people, by the people and for the people. Democracy is a government of the people, by the people and for the people. Janangal, janangalal, janangalkku vendi. That is the definition of democracy by Abraham Lincoln. That also you taught us, madam. It is said by Ribyang, one student. We in Meghalaya always ruled ourselves. So he is explaining his own political conditions. So my dear children, Lincha madam, what was her opinion? I am not saying we need to change it. That means according by the opinion of the Ribyang, she is giving opinion, reply, we no need to, or I am not saying we need to change it. I too find this definition very beautiful. Democracy is a form of government of the people, by the people, for the people, by Abraham Lincoln. It is a beautiful definition for democracy. And but we don't know if this is the best way of defining unless we think about it ourselves. When we are practicing it, or when we are living in this democratic form of government, it is completely true or not? That how can we find it out? We have to practice it properly. And just because everyone accept it, എല്ലാവരും അംഗീകരിക്കണം, everyone's consent is needed, okay, then only we can say that it is a beautiful definition, but everyone should accept it. Am I right? And then Yolanda, one student, ma'am, can I suggest something? Madam, ഞാനൊരു ഒപ്പീനിയൻ പറയട്ടെ, ഒരു സജഷൻ ഞാൻ പറയട്ടെ. വാട്ട് വാസ് ദാറ്റ്? വി ഡോണ്ട് നീഡ് ടു ലുക്ക് ഫോർ എനി ഡെഫിനിഷൻ. നമുക്കൊരു ഡെഫിനിഷനും പഠിക്കണ്ട. വെരി സിമ്പിൾ, very good opinion. Am I right? You also thinking such a way? Don't think such a way. Yes, okay. I read some where that the word democracy come from. Before studying definition, we can discuss. I will tell you where this word came from. Democracy enna vaak evide nannanu vannadennu namukkonnu nokkam. In Greek word demos means people. Demos, people, and means and kratia, Kratia, K-R-A-T-I-A. Kratia means it is rule. So demos means people and kratia means rule. So democracy means people's rule. Democracy means people's rules. Am I right? Demos means people and kratia means rule. So what is the meaning? People's rule. And so democratia in Greek, demos means people and kratia means rule. So we so democracy is a rule by the people. This is the correct meaning. Where is the need to debate? Madam, why we are conducting this debate? We don't want to conduct any debate relating with the definition of the democracy. Now I suggested you can accept it. That was the opinion of the student. The teacher should accept, a teacher is ready to accept everyone's opinion. Why? It is a democratic form of government, and democratic form of democratic policies are needed in a classroom itself. Teacher should consider everyone. Am I right? So she is saying, madam, we don't want to study any other definitions. Democracy, demo means people and kratia means rule. So democracy means people's rule, I think, or rule by the people. Okay, this is the correct meaning according to Yolanda. So Linda madam's opinion, that is also very helpful way of thinking. No matter, I would just say that this does not always work. Yolanda, you are very correct, your answer is correct, but alone this meaning we cannot define democracy completely. Okay, there are some other limitations are there. Rule by the people, or people's rule, or rule by people, and not remain tied to its origin. Just think of computers. Originally they were used computing. You know, when computer first it introduced computer, first time it is using for the calculation. കണക്കുകളൊക്കെ കൂട്ടാൻ വേണ്ടിയായിരുന്നു. So computer means that calculating. That means use it for computing, calculating. But now you see What are the purposes or for what purposes we are using for computer? Watching TV, watching news, entertainment programs, calculating, and different from net we can observe each and every minute informations we will get from this computer, through the computer helping us. But first, what was the meaning of computer? Computing, calculating. Now the purpose is not only the calculating. Like that, people's rule by the people. The real meaning, you are correct, but it is not enough. It is not a complete meaning like computer and computing. Now we are using computer for different activities. Now we understood. We are finding out the sums, hearing music, watching TV, watching films, entertainment program, informative programs. Am I right, my dear children? Yes. And Mary, ma'am, so basically what you are saying is that there is no shortcut to our thinking about the matter ourselves. Madam, that means I think there is no shortcut to understand democracy. We have to study all the definition and meaning that you are saying. According to Mary, she is asking meaning and evolved definition. So we have to go inner part or into the democracy, the words and its policies. Okay, that means we have to study deep about the definition and meaning of the democracy. Linda madam, you got me right. അപ്പോൾ ടീച്ചറിന് മനസ്സിലായി കുട്ടികൾക്ക് എന്താണ് ഡെമോക്രസി എന്ന് ഇലാബറേറ്റ് ആയിട്ട് പഠിക്കണം എന്നത് മനസ്സിലായി. സോ ടീച്ചർ ഇൻഫോംഡ്, യെസ് യു ഗോട്ട് മീ റൈറ്റ്, നിങ്ങൾക്കിപ്പോൾ എന്നെ ഞാൻ പറഞ്ഞത് മനസ്സിലായി. ലെറ്റ് us ഗെറ്റ് ഓൺ വിത്ത് ഇറ്റ് നൗ. ഇനി നമുക്ക് വി ക്യാൻ സ്റ്റഡി വൈഡ്ലി അബൌട്ട് ദ മീനിങ് ആൻഡ് ദ ഡെഫിനിഷൻ ഓഫ് ഡെമോക്രസി. ഐ തിങ്ക് യു ഓൾസോ ഗോട്ട് why we are studying. Why we are studying the definition and meaning of a democracy. Am I right, children? Yes. So here I am going to conclude my class. I think you got it. It is a very simple area, very interesting area. You have to read the introductory part and overview and what is democracy and why define democracy. After that we conducted, I read a conversation and you have to read this complete area. If you have any doubts, you can call me, no doubts, at any time I am ready to clear your doubts. Understood? Okay, we will meet again on next class. Thank you.